If you are thinking that just solving 500 or 600 or 700 odd Leetcode questions is going to help you land, let's say, a job at one of the big tech companies, let's say FAANG, then I believe you are already thinking in the wrong direction. I myself worked with a lot of FAANG companies including Google, Meta, Microsoft, LinkedIn and whatnot. And in this particular video, based on my experience, based on what kind of interview processes I have seen, based on the interviews I have taken, I'm going to talk about some of the most practical tips which can actually help you structure your approach towards your interview preparation for FAANG. In this particular video, I'm not going to talk about how you can just grind Leetcode and land up a job, and instead I'm going to focus on that as a software engineer, what's the expectations you can have when you are actually working in FAANG. And let's say that when you're going to interview for all of these companies, the interviewers are going to expect some certain set of skill set from you. What are those and how you can actually achieve that? So without any further ado, let's just start. But before starting the video, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we are going to put some really awesome content coming up ahead. So let's just start. So before moving forward in the video, I would like to tell you about the brand new offering of Algocamp, which is the Lambda 5.0 course. So this is the 5th iteration of the flagship advanced backend development course with Node.js, but this time it's bigger and better. This time Algocamp has introduced a lot of new projects. The whole ecosystem is going to be more AI powered. There are projects including Lovable Clone, your own AI fitness tracker, own AI interview planner and interview prep, I would say, tool. There is some deep engineering concepts around distributed transaction using which you're going to make a payment system or a payment wallet system altogether. There's going to be a workflow manager project. You're going to try to understand how exactly you can use the concepts of, let's say, CDC in order to implement different projects. A lot of deep technical projects and deep technical understanding you are going to get. This particular course is going to focus on making sure that you understand the system architectures and deep system concept that a lot of senior engineers are always involved with, and try to make projects on top of that. You are going to see actual scaling strategies, replication strategies, how you can make sure that your system is fault tolerant, and concepts around, let's say, Kafka, concept around Redis and whatnot. There is so many different projects that are actually added, including a WhatsApp system, something like a Netflix-like system, a Twitch-like system, a lot of AI-powered tools. We are going to actually make something like Lovable Clone and whatnot. Do check out the link in the description section below. Get the idea about all the projects that you are going to get and build. This is something that will take you from an absolutely beginner level backend developer to a very advanced level backend engineer altogether. We have received such great testimonies from the last set of batches, and people are actually loving what we have already built, but this time we have made sure that this is bigger and better. So do check out the link in the description section below and use this coupon code to get massive discounts on the current price. And now let's go back to the video. What I believe the biggest mistake in the preparation strategy for most of the candidates is that they just feel that they need to solve 500 odd Leetcode questions or maybe solve some particular sheet, and that's it. That is all that it takes to land up an interview and actually clear an interview in FAANG. But trust me, that's not the case. In most of the engineering interviews in these big tech companies, people are actually not just looking for your problem solving skills. They're not just looking that you are memorizing some solution and then just spitting it out in an interview. That's not the case. People are actually looking forward that, are you able to understand the problem correctly given to you? Whether you are able to understand the requirements, whether you are able to see the constraints coming up ahead. Are you able to structure your solution well? Are you able to communicate your solution well or not? Are you able to break down the problem into individual parts and then selectively pick up the part that you have to first solve and then solve in a more structured way? And whether you are able to communicate this thinking or not. Because in an actual engineering job also, you'll be given a problem statement that there is a good chance that you might have never seen earlier. But your approach towards breaking down a problem, your approach towards getting the requirements right, your approach towards communicating it effectively, that what you are thinking with your colleagues, with your seniors, is going to actually help you solve real world engineering problems. And that's what people want to see in most of the coding rounds. Rather than you memorizing the solution, try to have a more structured approach. Plus, in most of these engineering interviews, people are actually evaluating whether if you are able to think of a logic, are you able to convert that into a code or not? So your coding skills actually matter, that whether you have on ground, on keyboard experience of writing hands-on code or not. Plus, instead of just solving n number of questions, try to think for patterns, try to do pattern recognition, try to see that if you have solved some problem, what kind of other similar problems you will be able to solve, so that when you get new questions which are, let's say, out of your sheet that you have solved, you will be able to approach them in the right way. This is the first set of mistakes that people do, and I believe this is the other things that I just mentioned should be the right way to move forward to all of your coding interview preparation for FAANG interviews altogether. So if I have to recommend somebody that how they should start preparing for FAANG interviews, the following should be the set of steps one should actually approach for. The first one would be that you start doing problem solving, but instead of memorizing solution, instead of just solving 1,000 odd questions, try to look for patterns, try to see that how this particular question is solved, why this is solved in this own particular way, what are the similar set of questions you can solve using this particular pattern, is it kind of like a strategy that you can use in a lot of questions, the complexity analysis of the problem, the data structure that you have taken, what are the choices of that data structure. All of these things holistically, I would definitely recommend you to try to take a look on, because when you understand why this particular approach works rather than which particular approach works, is going to actually take you much more further in your coding interviews altogether. Coding, or I would say DSA, is not just about you memorizing the problems, but instead it should, like the practice that you're doing should help you to understand edge cases. For example, in most of the interviews, people do not like that they have to point out the edge cases to you. You should be yourself able to self-review your code, figure out that probably this code is not going to work for these kind of like edge cases, and then code them all together. Of course, your HRs are going to tell you that try to take hints from the interviewers, but depending on the level you are interviewing for, maybe taking too much hints is not going to be good for you. That's why your coding skills are going to be important, and that's why you need to look for holistically the kind of approaches, the kind of patterns that can solve majority of the questions. Don't be scared from DP or graph, because even in DP, even in graph, there is kind of like category of problems. If you solve enough category of problems and in each category you solve enough variety of problems, then even if a new altogether question comes up, you will be able to tackle it very easily. So this should be the first phase of your preparation altogether. Now, once you have solved enough number of questions, I believe start giving mock interviews. During these mock interviews, try to focus on the fact that you are able to actually tell your approach in very clear way. You are able to break down your solution and tell each and every single step. Also, if possible, try to think for corner cases while this discussion is happening, because in the actual interviews also this is going to be extremely important, that how you're communicating your solution. In actual engineering job also, there is going to be a lot of stakeholder management, there is going to be a lot of cross-functional team discussions. So your communication skills, your ability to actually propose a solution and explain a solution and help somebody to get convinced that this solution is going to work is actual part of the real job. So try it in these mock interviews that you improve your communication skills altogether, and make sure that you think about edge cases as early as possible rather than expecting to get some hints and then only you solve your edge cases. So this is going to be a very, very important part, that you improve on your communication skills and you try to give actual time-bound interviews, kind of like mock interviews, maybe with your friends, so that you can understand the pressure and you can understand the clock, that how fast you have to code, how fast you have to think, how fast you have to communicate. Now keep one thing in mind, most of the companies are not looking for lead coders. People are actually looking for real software engineers who have solved some real life problems, real actual engineering problems. So make sure you build your resume well. Make sure you have some good full stack, or maybe if backend is your forte, then good backend engineering projects altogether, so which can actually focus on some interesting actual engineering problem. The problem can be of wide variety. For example, let's say something around concurrency, maybe something around exploring a particular type of an architecture like a Lambda architecture or a Kappa architecture. Maybe the problem, I would say the project might be around containerization and whatnot. Try to make sure that your profile overall looks like a holistic software engineer rather than somebody who has solved like 500 odd Leetcode questions. If you are somebody who is able to get some internships, or maybe you have 1 to 2 or 3 years of experience, then in your internship or the company that you're working for, try to take important and I would say impactful projects that boost up your resume, that as an engineer you were able to move the needle, you were able to create some impact, you were able to work on some scale, you were able to actually work on complex engineering problem. Or maybe try to, if you're building, let's say, your own personal project, then try to pick some real world, real engineering solving problem project. Like for example, maybe you can, instead of just making a CRUD application, try to make an application where you can stream videos, like a video streaming platform, where you can actually have a separate path where you can process the videos chunk by chunk. You can have adaptive streaming. You can also add support for live streaming and whatnot. So these kind of like projects are going to actually improve your overall engineering abilities and actually show off a lot of skills that you have, and you have the knack for taking up newer problems and solving all of them. Now, I've been telling this in a lot of videos that the only thing that will get you selected is your ability to showcase that you are a good software engineer, not a good lead coder, not somebody who has n number of projects, but somebody who is able to think about softwares and execution or building of that softwares altogether. You should be a good problem solver plus a good builder. You should be able to break down your problems. You should be able to approach the problems in the right way. You should not run for the final solution. Instead, focus on an incremental effort of adding more features and incrementally improving things. You should be somebody who is, if let's say, able to understand the, I would say, logic of a problem, you are able to code it. So your hardcore coding ability should be there. Practicing on system design, that you are able to understand scalable systems, what are different problems in specific type of I would say systems come up. For example, let's say if you are building a project for your personal portfolio, like let's say an e-commerce app, it's good, but try to go one step ahead. Try to maybe add the concept of flash sales, that let's say you have 10 million products to sell, but in 10 minutes, how you will scale up your system, how will you build your system, what will be the logic for that. These kind of interesting problems are going to help you understand deep engineering concept and will actually show that you have the ability to learn about newer problems that are coming up and actually solve them as well. So try to make sure that you are able to explain your thought process in interviews. Don't just panic in your interviews, because if you have done this kind of like a strategy and you have done this kind of like a preparation, you will definitely do good. Mock interviews are really helpful. They will help you to understand what are your pain points. Maybe communication is your pain point, edge cases are your pain point, or structuring your system design solution is your pain point, and try to work on that. The effectively you will communicate, the more structured answers you will give, the more to the point answers you will give, the better is going to be your chances to actually land up an interview and actually crack those interviews as well. So I believe overall all of these pointers together can help you to crack a FAANG interview. Of course, based on every specific company, there can be some corner cases or some specific demands that you might have to fulfill, or some specific type of strategy that you might have to go through. But again, in general, most of the companies are looking for a better software engineer. So make sure you improve your skills on engineering, try to explore complex problems, and try to improve your problem solving and communication altogether. I hope the overall video was useful for you. If you have any thoughts or any comments, do let me know in the comment section below. I would be really happy to answer all of them. Also, if you have any specific ideas that you feel that we should make a video on, do let us know in the comment section below. We would be happy to answer all of your comments. That being said, let's wrap this particular video here. We're going to meet soon in the next set of videos. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. I'm Sanket Singh, signing off.